Hi, this is Katie Sanders, and I want to very much thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast. What is this podcast all about? First, this podcast is for people who are neurodivergent, who have ADHD, autism, any kind of sensory processing issues, or and chronic illnesses, anxiety, and deal with overwhelm on a daily basis. And I think that is the key that strings a lot of those together, is that we're all sometimes in a state of overwhelm, more so than others, of just intaking a lot and trying to process through our day-to-day lives. You may have also used terms like being empathetic or empathic, or you're highly sensitive, or you're quirky, or you're awkward around others, or you have special interests that others may not have. Or you may need to take a lot more days off, take things slower because you are in a lot of pain every day and you have a lot of anxiety and stress that you're also dealing with. This is not a total sum of all the things. This is just some examples of what a lot of people listening to this podcast all have in common. I myself am neurodivergent, and sometimes I have trouble even saying that word. And I am also dealing with chronic illness in my daily life. Sometimes I pronounce things a little wrong, or I get tripped up over my words, or sometimes I end up skipping over words because my brain is processing so fast. So sometimes I will leave out very critical words that are part of sentences. Sometimes I talk in circles where I might repeat myself for something I just said. But that's all okay, right? We can communicate in these ways that will allow each other to understand. So if you are getting all the information that is coming across, then that's the whole purpose, right? Is that we don't need to correct everybody like with typos or things that we said wrong, because the core of the message is there and we know the intention behind it. So all of these podcasts are probably going to be between 5 and 15 minutes long. It helps people know that there's kind of a finite end to them, that they're easy to digest, and I release them on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So they're just little pick-me-ups throughout the week, and I feel like more frequent check-ins, whether it's through my own business or through this podcast, or any way that I'm communicating with people. When you have frequent communication, it kind of keeps people on track and keeps people uplifted through a longer time, like whether it's this podcast or whether it's one-on-one working with each other for a month, or whatever it is. I feel that's like a really important tool to make things short and sweet and consistent. Also, I do not edit these podcasts. They're usually done in one take, and all of the ums and uhs will be in there. So if that is something that will really bother you over time, then I'm sorry, then this isn't the podcast for you. But I do have my transcripts available if you'd want to read through them. They do have the ums and uhs taken out. So I'm so glad to have you here, and I hope you join me on all my other episodes. And thank you for joining me on the My Senses, My Space podcast.